From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Tuesday, October the 23rd, 2018. A Palestinian teenager was arrested today in the West Bank after he drew a knife on Israeli soldiers. The 17-year-old was asked to pull up his shirt after he set off metal detectors at a security checkpoint at the entrance to the Tomb of the Patriarchs in Hebron. He then drew the knife, and border police officers aimed their weapons at him, and he put the weapon down and was subdued without injury and taken for questioning. Yesterday, we reported to you that a Palestinian attacked an IDF soldier with scissors also near the site. He was shot and killed, the soldier lightly injured and taken to the hospital. About 200 Palestinians took part in violent riots today at the Gaza security fence. According to the IDF, the rioters burned tires and threw explosive devices and stones at Israeli troops who responded with riot control measures, also using live fire when necessary. Several incendiary devices were also sent over the fence from Gaza into southern Israel, sparking a number of fires, including a massive blaze in the Gvar-Am forest being battled by Israeli firefighters. The riots today, though, were smaller than previous ones, and Israel this week took several measures, citing a moderation in the situation. Yesterday, Israel fully reopened the Erez and Kerem Shalom crossings from Gaza, and today increased the allowed fishing area in the Gaza Strip to 6 miles from an earlier reduction of 3. Well, what was first seen as a bizarre theory as to who was responsible for the rockets fired last week at Israel from Gaza is now reportedly being accepted as probable. After 2 rockets were fired at Israel last week, one of which hit a home in Beersheba, veteran Israeli Arab Affairs reporter Shimrit Meir shared on her Twitter page that terror group Hamas was claiming that a lightning strike caused the rockets to launch. There were several lightning strikes in Gaza just before the rockets fired, and there is also a cell phone video from Gaza claiming to show the lightning and then the launches moments after. Yediot Aharonot reported today that Israel's security cabinet now accepted this theory, though there has been no official confirmation of that. When asked about the weather being to blame, Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked only said, based on what we know, Hamas did not mean to shoot the rockets. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met today with New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy in Jerusalem to discuss deepening cooperation between the Jewish state and the Garden State, encouraging, he wrote, continued economic development by focusing on encouraging investments in innovation in Israel and New Jersey. As we reported to you yesterday, Murphy and Israel Consul in New York, Dani Dayan, signed a memorandum of understanding in Jerusalem yesterday, also towards this goal. A small explosive device was found in the mailbox outside the home of Jewish billionaire George Soros. The New York Times reports the device was found yesterday outside the home in Katona, New York. It was detonated by a police bomb squad, and the case handed over to the FBI. A delegation of Israeli police officers is in Poland this week to remember the 6 million Jews murdered during the Holocaust. The 180 officers formed a human Star of David on the grounds of the Treblinka death camp, one of the sites and memorials they visited under the banner Witnesses in Uniform. And staying in Poland, Israel marked the 70th anniversary of its first diplomatic outpost in Warsaw. Israeli Ambassador Anna Azari and other diplomats hung the Israeli flag from a balcony of the historic Bristol Hotel during a ceremony today. The Vice Mayor of Parkland, Florida, Stacey Kagan, addressed the Jewish Federations of North America's General Assembly being held in Tel Aviv this week. Kagan thanked the American Jewish community and Israel for the support given after the devastating school shooting in her community in February. Experts from the Israeli Trauma Coalition went to Parkland to provide counseling, and Jewish federations helped raise funds. Kagan presented the key to the city to JFNA's Emergency Response Committee Chair Gail Norrie, thanking the community for showing up in Parkland's time of need. New chairman of the Jewish Agency, Isaac Herzog, also addressed the GA today. Israel's former opposition leader said it was imperative to address the divides between Israel and diaspora Jewry And he called on the Israeli government to fund Hebrew classes for Jews around the world.
If Israel and the Jews of the diaspora do not seek common ground in order to courageously confront together the challenges of this new age, we are in danger of losing a significant part of the Jewish people. We must remember and insist that a Jew is a Jew is a Jew, no matter what he or she believes in, no matter where he or she eats or wears, or whichever synagogue he or she goes or doesn't go to. Instead of raising walls of confrontation that will further divide us, let us build golden bridges that will reconnect us.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Tuesday, October the 23rd at 7 o'clock, Rabbi Steve Greenberg, who is the first openly gay Orthodox rabbi, talks about the importance of Jewish inclusion of all in the Jewish community. That's from the Saul Cohen JFS lecture in Stamford, Connecticut. At 8, we hear from Jewish gay activists who discuss the Israeli LGBTQ community's fight for acceptance. That's from students supporting Israel at Columbia. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub sits down with Peter Kurz of the Israeli Association of Baseball and filmmaker Jeremy Neuberger, director of the film Heading Home, on L'chaim. At 10, former baseball players Ron Bloomberg, Art Shamsky, and Elliot Maddox talk about being Jewish in the major leagues. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz goes one-on-one. And that's the JBS News Update for Tuesday, October the 23rd, 2018. I'm Teisha Bader.